UFC Vegas 105. This is the official betting video. How we doing, everybody? My name is Young Pasty, the whitest in the land. And I'm here today to bring you all of my official bets for UFC Vegas 105. I got 4 bangers coming your way, all right? I'll give you all of my leans, so bets and plays I like and I'm considering. I'll throw y'all a couple of long shot parlays. Actually, I got 3 of them. And we did hit one of the long shot parlays last week. We'll go over that later. And lastly, my stayaways. So bets and plays I recommend you do not put your hard-earned money on. Now, as we always do, guys, we have to recap last week. UFC Mexico City. Pulling the results up right now. And yes, we did pretty good. We did pretty dang good, guys. We hit 4 out of the 5 bets. The number 1 bet is back on track. And we hit most of them. And I'm really, bet number 5. Gabriel Santos by submission. It was a quarter of a unit, so it wasn't too much of a loss. And you can't say that bet was not live at some point, right? Santos just had a bad angle on the choke, right? He almost had it. And we knew once he got standing that, ultimately knockout was inbound. So, yeah. But at the end of the day, we profit 3.2545 units. So a pretty solid week for UFC Mexico City. Now, let's move that good momentum into this week. If you're new to the channel and you haven't, subscribe, like, comment, share the Fantastic Four, okay? Support goes a long way. And lastly, before we start this off, Patreon is free. Links in the description. You can get all of my bets when I place them and get the odds when they're good because, I put all these bets in before Wednesday when the video drops here, right? So get the odds while they're good. They always sway it the opposite way. Now let's get this going. The official bets for UFC Vegas 105. Bet number 1, okay? We sort these by confidence, guys, okay? So bet number 1 is always my most confident play of the week. We have a 2-pick parlay. We got Luis Gurule and we have Kennedy Nzechukwu. Minus 107, we are putting 1.25 units on it. It's currently sitting at minus 133, so the odds are still pretty good. I would still play it at minus 133. Now, going over each fighter, right? Luis Gurule, just call this guy a freaking mini Sean Strickland, okay? He is going to run over Osbourne. has not looked good in the past 4, okay? Past 5, honestly. He has a split win over Charles Johnson. Okay, I'll give you that. All right, but the other 4 has not looked good, to be honest with you. Didn't look very good in that Ronaldo Rodriguez fight. Had his moments, right, but ultimately lost. And yeah, Gurule, first fight in the UFC. Again, this dude's a mini Sean Strickland. Don't let this reach advantage sway your mind. And it took me a while to get over it, but Gurule has gone against people who have a reach advantage on him, and similar to Osbourne, right, 8-9 inches, right? He was able to close distance. He's in your face the whole time. Again, he's going to run him over. So, Luis Gurule, first leg. Now, second leg, Kennedy Nzechukwu. Kennedy Nzechukwu going up against Martin Buday, a.k.a. Martin Booty. Okay? Not very good. His wins, not notable at all. His last win, come on now. Split decision over a 45-year-old Andrei Arlovsky. Come on now. Went to decision with Lucas Brzeski, who Kennedy ran over in the first round. Kennedy has looked great since his move up to heavyweight. He's gone up against much better competition in his, UFC tenure rather than Martin Buday. And yes, you're like, oh, he's 14-2 and he wins. Not going to happen here, guys. Not going to happen here. Kennedy Nzechukwu is going to knock the lights off of this guy. He'll end up being 14-3. Kennedy Nzechukwu knocked out Carlos Ulberg. Let's not forget that. Right? I know it was a while ago. Think about it as you wish, but I think it's pretty notable as you see where Carlos Ulberg is at this point. So, yeah. Luis Gurule, Kennedy Nzechukwu, 2-pick parlay, minus 107. We are putting 1.25 units on it. That's the most confident play of the week. We move on to bet number 2. A little round prop. We got the under 2.5 rounds in the Pat Sabatini versus Joanderson Brito fight. Minus 165. We are putting 1 unit on it. Under 1.5 is sitting at plus 125. Probably going to sprinkle a little bit of that on the side. Not an official play, but something I do like. But the official play is under 2.5 rounds. Look, guys, this fight's going to go either two ways. Pat Sabatini by submission, Joanderson Brito by KO. Right. Sabatini showed he's chinny, but he's elite on the mat. And don't get it twisted, man. Brito was handled by Jonathan Pierce until he ultimately left his neck exposed. Okay, so do not get it twisted here. Pat Sabatini does not make those mistakes. So if he gets it to the mat, his most likely path to victory is by submission. And then Joanderson Brito, man, he's got that KO power. He's the much better striker than Sabatini. And we've seen Sabatini chinned a few times. And the one by Damon Jackson, man, it just didn't, foot to the face. Ooh, did not look good. But anywho, I think one of them gets it done. We got the under 2.5 rounds. Now, fight not to go the distance was like minus 225. Not a play you can play kind of singly. That's a kind of a parlay play. So minus 165. That's a pretty solid number. I'm comfortable with. I'm getting 2.5 rounds for one of these guys to get a finish. And it's most likely going to happen probably in the first round, to be honest with you, right? Brito's probably going to chin him, or Sabatini's going to get a quick submission. It's going to be a good co-main event, nevertheless. So, and again, under 1.5 is sitting at plus 125. So I'm probably going to sprinkle that a little bit on that too on the side. So let's go. Moving on to bet number 3. And you know how we do it here, guys. Bet number 3 is always a 3-pick parlay. 3 solid plays that we put together into one to get a good number. So we'll go over each 3 legs of the 3-pick parlay for bet number 3. Lerone Murphy, Torrez Finney, and Loma Lookboonme. Put all these 3 together. We're sitting at plus 114, putting 1 unit on it. That number is currently sitting at plus 108, so you can still get plus money on it. That come fight time, you're not going to get plus money on this parlay, guarantee you. So anyway, we'll go over each fighter. Lerone Murphy going up against Jamal Emmett. Oh man, Jamal Emmett. Oh my gosh. Thinking of someone else. Jamal Emmett. Josh Emmett. Thinking of freaking Jamal Emmers from last week. Sorry, guys. Lerone Murphy going up against Josh Emmett. Now, this dude has KO power, man. Don't get it twisted, right? So, Lerone Murphy has to be on his P's and Q's and not get caught by a shot that'll flatline him and end him like that Bryce Mitchell one, which I keep replaying it and I love it. So, that knockout was crazy. But, yeah, Lerone Murphy going to take care of business. It's going to, he's more of a point fighter, going to take this all 5 rounds, right? Josh, man, he's old. Josh Emmett's old. 40 years old now. Coming off a year and almost a year and a half layoff. Multiple injuries that he sustained throughout his career. Lerone Murphy undefeated. Yeah, the Dan Ige fight was not a good look last time. I'm not going to disagree with anybody saying that, okay? But anywho, he's the younger, more primed fighter. 40 years old, Josh Emmett. Come on. All Lerone Murphy has to do is avoid the KOs and do his little dance. So, Lerone Murphy. Then Torrez Finney going up against Robert Valentin. Have you guys seen Torrez Finney? Have you seen him? I mean, look at him in the picture, guys. This dude is a physical specimen. I mean, this guy is humongous, okay? Extreme physical strength and power. Amazing top control. So that's where this fight's going to end up, man. Torrez Finney by decision is my kind of thinking in this, right? He had some, Dana White had some words with him in the past in those Dana White Contender Series fights. Ultimately, he has the contract now, but I think he goes back to his ways and gets a hard-fought 3-round decision where he's on top, getting some damage in, but not enough to get the KO. Again, he has to be on his P's and Q's too, because Robert Valentin, good on the back, could find a sneaky submission. So that's also live too. But yeah, Torrez Finney probably going to take that one. And then lastly, Loma Lookboonme going up against Istela Nunez. Come on now. Okay? This girl is just not UFC caliber. She can't, and her best round is the first round. After that, she sucks. Gasses out. Doesn't look good. Come on. I mean, Loma Lookboonme has many notable wins Istela Nunez has none. Okay, so that's a pretty good, parlay piece. All three of these guys, well, 2 guys and a gal, plus 114. We're putting 1 unit on it. Moving on to bet number 4, the last official bet of the week. I might have another one, but we'll see. Not sure. Anyway, bet number 4. We got the underdog, Davey Grant, plus 130. We are putting 0.5 units on it. Yo, I'm putting a little shot on my boy Davey Grant as the underdog, going up against a Daniel Santos who the gym he's training with is not very good. Okay? Coming off a pretty long layoff. Davey Grant's a dog and seen much better competition in his days. Just beat Tavares, right? Ramon Tavares. And I put Ramon Tavares up against Daniel Santos. I think Tavares handles him, you know what I mean? Davey Grant has looked amazing in his past fights, even at 39. So don't let the age fool you or twist you. Yes, it's a 9-year age difference, but I'm not getting it twisted at all, man. Davey Grant is here to win. Davey Grant will fight for your money, and that's why I'm laying on him. And he's an underdog. Okay, give me the dog money. I thought these odds would be flipped. Like minus 130 for Davey Grant. Slight underdog on Santos. But, hey, man, I'll take it. Davey Grant plus 130, 0.5 units. So, let's go, guys. Those are the 4 official bets for UFC Vegas 105. And we move on to our leans section. So, again, these are bets I like and I'm considering, but I have not put official money on yet. So, we have 3 sections. First section here are fighters straight up that I like, the money line. So, first is, Pat Sabatini. If you don't like the submission is sitting at plus 500. If you don't like the submission, just take him straight up as a dog, sitting at plus 210. So, I like that number. But honestly, decision and KO are not likely at all. So, I think you're better off doing a method of victory for Pat Sabatini, but if you just want to go straight up, plus 210. Maybe he does what Jonathan Pierce did and does a boring kind of decision on the ground. You never know. So, next, Frunza going up against Rhys Mckee. Come on now. Rhys Mckee, 2 stints in the UFC, no wins. Keeps winning in Cage Warriors, but can't put it together in the UFC. Frunza, man, has that KO power. He has that death touch. Okay? I think he's going to chin Mckee, honestly, with you. I think he's going to chin Mckee. I think Mckee finds his way out of the UFC again and starts fighting on Cage Warriors. Unfortunately, man, I feel bad for him. I mean, he went decision with Chitty. Okay? I guess that's something to... he lost, but, it's something that you can put a little stock into. But yeah, man, Frunza has the pressure, has the KO power. He's going to put Rhys Mckee on the back feet. I don't know. Crazy D-Chang call, I guess. Maybe Rhys Mckee by a freaking submission. I don't know. But the gillies and submission attempts I've seen him pull on other people are pitiful. So I can't see myself getting there. But Frunza at minus 160, not a bad play. Lastly, Vanessa Demopoulos. It's sitting at pick-em odds, minus 110. People are so overhyping and overrating the Toledo Alencar wrestling and jiu-jitsu. I mean, Demopoulos has a BJJ in her own right. Has good BJJ in her own right. And they just think she's gonna get submitted or handled on the ground. She's not gonna take that, right? Have you seen Vanessa Demopoulos fight in her fights? Right? She's a scrappy little dog. Okay, she fucking yells every time she she just yells and throws. I mean, look, I imagine she becomes a dog come fight time, so I maybe wait on it if you like Demopoulos. But minus 110, still not a bad number, and a fighter that will fight for your money too, kind of like a Davey Grant. So, and also has more UFC experience. I mean, Alencar only has 2 fights in the UFC, and one was a fucking rematch. Come on now. So, Demopoulos minus 110. Next, these are some round props that I like. So first, we got the over 4.5 rounds for the Lerone Murphy versus Josh Emmett, not Jamal Emmett. Sitting at minus 175. Yeah, this is likely. This is very likely. Josh Emmett's tough. Okay, he went 5 rounds with Ilia Topuria. Okay, so we think he's not going to go 5 rounds with Murphy. Come on now. So minus 175. That you're sitting on the edge of a playable single play, or maybe a little juicy parlay piece. So next we have the under 2.5 rounds for the Kennedy fight. Sitting at minus 135. As I said, KO incoming. You're going to give me an extra round and a half. It's going to get done in the first round, right? But you're going to give me an extra 1.5 rounds for Kennedy to do that, sitting at minus 135. Take it. Pretty good. Pretty good line there, actually. Something I like. That actually might be another play I might play. But, see, I try not to interlace, plays and fighters, because one person screws you, then it messes up all your parlays, you know what I mean? So, next, we have the over 1.5 for the Tavares fight. Tavares and Meerschaert fight. I think it goes over 1.5. That's sitting at minus 350. That's a parlay piece, definitely. But they're both tough. I think it lasts at least to that point. But after that, man, I think a finish is likely for Meerschaert. So the over 1.5 is definitely likely to happen after that, though. I think Meerschaert could find something. The over 2.5 rounds for the Finney fight, I think he gets it done by decision. That's sitting at plus 135. I think he gets it done by decision versus Valentin, so you're going to get plus money on the decision. Maybe Valentin handles him. Maybe Valentin puts on with the striking, and Torrez Finney has just enough to in the tank there to withstand the shots to the final bell, or at least halfway through the third round there. So yeah, plus 135, good little play there. And lastly, the over 1.5 rounds for the Gurule fight, minus 235. Again, that's not like another little parlay piece you could do. Buday Osbourne's tough. We've seen him in some suspect spots and still able to withstand these fighters and get to the final bell. So, man, you're going to give me the over 1.5 at minus 235. Pretty good line there. Good little parlay piece. So, I like it. Over 1.5 rounds for the Gurule Osbourne fight. Those are all the round props that I like, and we'll move on to the method of victory props that I like. We got a few of them here today. Okay, first one, I've kind of said it here before, maybe 8 times. We got the Sabatini sub, sitting at plus 500. That's the way he's going to win. Okay, so, but if you think he's going to get like a KO, maybe he finds himself in a ground and pound situation, which he has had some good ground and pound in the past on some people. He's had some nasty elbows. You never know. He just gets him in a spot where they can't defend. I don't see Brito just sitting there and being susceptible to that or getting caught in that kind of spot in a ground and pound situation. But plus 1,600 for a KO from Sabatini, not a bad number there. The Murphy decision. Lerone Murphy by decision, minus 105. If you want to take him straight up, it's like minus 300, minus 310 now. Not something, again, that's why he's in the 3-pick parlay, but he's going to get it done by decision, definitely. So, KO, I don't think so. Submission would be wild, but I don't think so. Yeah, so Murphy decision is the most likely outcome, sitting at minus 105, almost plus money for that. Next, the Cortavious KO/sub, so either. Now, when I originally wrote this down, it was sitting at plus 280, so I was like, dang, that's not a bad number. Now, nope. Not anymore. Overnight. Dang, it was crazy. It was like flipped to like plus 175. But anyway, plus 175, I believe now is the correct number. But I think he gets it done by either of those ways. He does have KO power, and his submissions are live. Okay, he's well versed on the mat, 100%. Okay, so you're gonna get a little bit extra odds there. I believe he's gonna become a favorite come fight time. He's start off near plus 175, plus 150. It's been making his way down. It's going to be a pick 'em at maybe by tomorrow, to be honest with you. But I bet you he's a slight favorite come fight time. Lastly, the Kennedy KO. Last time I checked, it was at plus 150. So, look, that's how he's going to get it done too. I don't think Martin Buday is going to last 3 rounds with this guy. I just don't. Okay? Maybe Kennedy takes a little bit of time and patience to feel him out, but I think he gets it done at least in the first or second round. So give me, Kennedy KO, plus 150. Good little play there. Now, those are all the leans. Okay? Those are all the leans. We move on next to our long shot parlay section. Yes, I got 3 for you guys this week. Ow, just hit my hand. that hurt. Yeah, 3 long shot parlays. Now, I'm going to pull up last week's long shot parlay. Here it is. Now, as you can see, the Joe Pyfer fight did get canceled. However, Brandon Moreno and both Raul Rosas Jr. got it done by decision. So technically, we did hit one of the long shot parlays. So let's go, guys. We hit our first long shot parlay of the year. Let's keep that momentum and roll it on into this week. Again, these are long shot parlays. Don't go putting your life savings on these, okay? It's really meant for, small little plays that are fun. You know what I mean? So definitely don't be putting, 1 unit, 2 units on these. No, don't be doing that. So first long shot parlay, we have it sitting at plus 816. This is one of the more safer plays, but again, 3 legs that I like and are most likely going to hit. So again, the first is the Cortavious. We have him by sub/decision. Secondly, we have the Luis Gurule KO/decision, and then lastly the Barbosa sub. Put all 3 of those together. We're sitting at plus 816. I like all 3 of these legs here. Okay, I like all 3 of them. Moving on, long shot parlay number 2. We moved the odds up a little bit. Okay, we have 4 legs in this one, but again, confident in each leg. Here we go. Murphy decision, Brito KO, Kennedy KO/decision, and lastly Barbosa sub, sitting at plus 1,197. There it is. Lastly, long shot parlay number 3. Now, this one's nuts. Okay, this one's sitting at plus 11,340. Okay, if it hits, it'd be crazy. And the receipts will be right here, guys. Okay, so long shot parlay number 3. Sabatini sub, Meerschaert sub, and Grant decision, Davey Grant decision. Yes, plus 11,340. Those are all 3 of the long shot parlays. We hit one last week. Let's hit another one this week. And we move on to my last section, the stay away section. So these are bets and plays I recommend you do not put your hard-earned money on. Flipping the page on my book. Don't got too many. I actually only have 2 of them here. So first is the Victor Henry versus Pedro Falco fight. I mean, there are many other fights on this card to bet on. Why would you want to bet on this one? That's all I have to say. I did pick Victor Henry if you want to pick, but this is just bottom of the barrel kind of fighting. I just stay away from this one, to be completely honest with you. Pedro could pull off the upset. He's not really a big underdog, but not a fight I'm interested in at all, and not 1 penny will be going on that one. Next, lastly, we have the Mckee versus Frunza round props. So, I don't know when Frunza will get the job done or how he will get the job done, but I do think he will win. That could be by decision, could be by KO. How tough is Mckee? I think he kind of, has okay movement and dances around the octagon. So, I don't know. Will Frunza be able to catch him? We'll see. But, avoid the round props. Avoid the round props. If anything, go put Frunza KO. Or maybe a crazy Mckee submission. I don't know. I would avoid the round props in general. Just not good looks. Now, that's it, guys. That's it. Those are all the things and stuffs for UFC Vegas 105. We went over all my official bets. We went over my leans. We gave you the long shot parlays and my stayaways. If you've made it this far and you haven't, dang, come on now. Subscribe, like, comment, share. Your support goes a long way. Patreon's free. Links in the description. Let's get this money this week, guys. UFC Vegas 105. Let's go. Young Pasty, out.